What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Happy Monday, people. We are back. Big week for Arsenal, as I said last week actually, but this is the last week before pre-season actually starts. Pre-season starts next week. I think they said Tuesday or Wednesday for Arsenal, so they've got to get business done, and they are looking like they are going to get business done this week, with offers going in and stuff like that. We'll go into more detail with that. Big up to everyone. Thank you to everyone who sent well wishes for the birthday and stuff like that. I really appreciate that. We did a Saturday night stream on the birthday evening, which was really good actually. I think I'm going to start integrating some nighttime streams as well. Good vibes. And really appreciate everyone who sent messages on socials and on YouTube. So big up to everyone for that. Big up Chris Lewis, who said, can I get a shout out on my 35th birthday today? Hopefully Arsenal don't send me into a midlife crisis. Big up to the June birthday crew. Big up, Chris. Listen, man, I always say don't let Arsenal ruin your weekend or your birthday, that's for sure. But big up, bro. Big up the family podcast, good stream. Big up to you always supporting. Kevin said, hey, Curtis, just heard a third bid for Rice been rejected. Locked in from Antigua. Yeah, I haven't seen anything about that yet. What I was reading is that they're in talks over the third bid. But if anything happens while we're on, just let me know. I always have a tab open, so I've got the latest news there, just in case we get some breaking news. But I haven't heard anything about a third offer being rejected yet. Apparently, they're in talks about the third offer. So, yeah, we'll have to see with that one. Champions League green screen. Listen, it's been 6 years, man. I can't wait to hear that music at Arsenal, man. Big up, Black. Big up everyone locked in. Everyone wishing Chris happy birthday as well. George said happy belated Big C. I appreciate it. And big up Calvin Anderson. Let's get into the show. We got a bit to talk about today, and some developing news around one of the stories that we're discussing as well. So let's start with a man like Jurriën Timber. Timber! I don't think I'm ever not going to shout that. We may overdo it once he does sign for the club. But listen, let's start with Timber. Fabrizio Romano tweeted this morning, Arsenal have submitted a second official proposal to Ajax in order to get Jurriën Timber deal done this week. Talks are advancing between the two clubs after the £30 million offer was rejected last week. Personal terms have been agreed on a 5-year contract. So the first offer was rejected. Now, it's interesting. I'm going to move this on, actually, from the Fabrizio part of the story, because Fabrizio, he seems to be quite up to date with this one, but not the latest one. Now, Mike Verwey, I believe they say his name. I don't know if I butchered his name. Just let it slide, people. It's been a long weekend. But he's just tweeted about 15 minutes ago, and he's very, very good when it comes to Dutch news. Apparently, Arsenal offered 48 million euros, which is around 40 million pounds. He's just tweeted that Ajax want a fee of 55 million euros, including add-ons for Timber. It's heading there. Arsenal are apparently willing to pay the fee. Positive outcome expected in the next few days. So Arsenal, I think the total fee that they want is 45 million pounds. And we've offered around 40 to 42 million pounds. So I'm not being funny. If there's a difference of around £5 million and you consider this guy to be one of your top targets, I would expect Arsenal to get this done. I've said from the get-go, I'm not no expert on this guy. I've watched him play probably 2 or 3 times for Ajax, and in them games I wasn't even watching him as the player that I was focusing on. I noticed he's very quick, he's very good on the ball. I've watched the YouTube highlights, which everyone watches when you don't know too much about a player. But is he worth that kind of money? Let me just double check. What is 55 million euros in pounds? Just so we know what it is exactly. So 47 million pounds. You know, for Arsenal, that's a lot of money for a defender. But we paid 50 million pounds for Ben White from Brighton, and he was relatively unproven at right back, where he's ended up playing. I actually think Ben White's done better at right back than he has at centre back. I wasn't actually too sure about him at centre back. So 47 million pounds. This would be with add-ons. So you're looking at maybe 40 million up front, 7 million in add-ons, something like that. Get the deal done. I know people say it's not that simple. It's big money. It's big business. But they're saying in all the reports, this guy was the top target for Mikel Arteta. A lot of you have said this in the comments as well. Where's he going to play? This is what I find really interesting, is the fact that we're going to pay £47 million for a centre-back that it looks as if we'll play him at right-back. But Ben White was a very, very good right-back for Arsenal last season. So Ben White will probably be thinking, that's a little bit harsh. But what I think with this situation, I think you can cover two problems in this Arsenal team with this signing. Number one, the backup right back, Tomiyasu, is injury prone. He's going to the Asia Cup in January. I don't think Tomiyasu will play that much football at Arsenal. So you've got Ben White and you've got Timber for your right back. And also we saw what happened with Saliba. When Saliba came out of the team injured, our title challenge completely disappeared. You cannot bring in Rob Holding as your third choice centre back. So what that does, it gives us fantastic, squad depth. You've got Gabriel and Saliba as your centre backs. You can play Ben White and you can play Timber at centre back if Saliba came out, for example. And you've also got Kivior as the left centre back. So I think it's a brilliant move. I would like to think that he would become our first choice right back, because I think Ben White had a fantastic season last year. But I do think you saw towards the end of the season that he wasn't a natural right back, consistently being taken off because he looked tired towards the end of games, not overlapping Saka as much as you probably would want. So let's see. He's like an inverted right back. We know that the buzzword at Arsenal is inverted. Amsterdam Thailand said, Curtis, are you happy with Timber? He's been bad last season. That was because they had two poor coaches. Under Ten Hag, he was a real talent. Ten Hag obviously tried to sign him for Manchester United, but wasn't able to get the deal done. So you probably know more about him than me, bro. I got to be totally honest. I don't know too much about him. So I can't really say how good this guy is. He looks very quick and very comfortable on the ball. Big up Clement, who said, bless up Big C in the community. Looks like we're on the verge of our second signing in Timber. According to Mike Verai, Ajax want 55 million euros. I mean, as I said, if we've offered 48 million euros, they want 55 with add-ons. You're looking at like another £5 million. Arsenal should get this deal done. They should get it done. He's very quick, that is for sure. So we'll have to see with that one. C Unit Nation, when is the Champions League draw? Let's find out. Let's do what we all do when we need to find something out. Get yourself on Google. When is the Champions League draw for this season's group stage? So let's have a look. The Champions League draw for the 23-24 season. The Grand Tournament takes place on the 31st of August. And then the first games start in September. September the 19th and the 20th. So the 31st of August, last day of August, is the Champions League draw after the last qualifying round. So yeah, we'll definitely be streaming that. I cannot wait to hear that Champions League music. No more Zoltan Gera doing the Europa League draw. We'll have man like Cafu and that doing it. So yeah, man. But in terms of Timber, like I said, we've spoken about it many times. Nathaniel said he's a quality signing. We get Timber. I say forget Rice and look for better value. I mean, we're going to speak about that, but I've said many times that I like Declan Rice. I hope we sign him. But I would definitely be looking at Barella. I would. Inter Milan in financial difficulty. Apparently they'll take 80 million euros for him, which is, like 70 million pounds. 70 million pounds for Barella. In this market, I would not be ignoring that. I think he's a brilliant player. He had a very good game against Man City in the final. Warren said, big up Curtis and the community. Happy belated birthday, Big C. I just spent $576 for free tickets for Arsenal v Man United. If these man don't get Rice, I'll protest. The prices for these pre-season friendlies in America are outrageous. The MLS All-Stars game, I don't think you can get a ticket for less than $300. And then, yeah, the United game's nearly $200, and I think the Barcelona game's about $120. So, yeah, it's outrageous. But they know if you don't buy it and I don't buy it, somebody's going to buy it. All those games will be sold out, so it's not a problem. Barella does bits. I've said it for years. He's a baller. Barella's not a DM, you're right, but I think we could do with 2 centre midfielders, Gus. So we could get a DM and then Barella as well, possibly a bit more advanced. Jack said, see you in LA, Big C. Big up, link up, people. See you in community. And, yeah. Young Gunner said, Mr. Live on the weekend, Big C, but happy belated. The real top G, keeping us entertained on a daily. Heard we could be in for Xavi Simons. Hold fire, my friend. We're going to talk about him in this show. A player that I've said a number of times I would like to see Arsenal go for. I think he's an extremely talented young player. And he hits the back of the net. And let's be honest, he ripped us apart when we played against them. So there's no better opportunity to look at a player than when he's playing against you. And he made light work of our midfield. T-Roll said, happy belated Big C. Good luck in the race for Rice. I'm still expecting some sort of twist in the story. Blessings to you, my friend. Big up, bro. I think as an Arsenal fan, it's never over until the player's holding up the shirt. It's as simple as that. Like, what we do as fans, and I do it. When we're getting linked with a player and it sounds like the negotiations are going well, psychologically in my head, he's already an Arsenal player. Declan Rice has been an Arsenal player for about 4 weeks in my mind until I saw Man City were coming in for him. Then he was a Man City player. Now I'm hearing he wants Arsenal, and that's what we do. I can already picture him playing centre midfield for us, but, until they're holding up the shirt, they're not Arsenal players. Tony said, big up Big C, I've got a dad joke for you. What do you get when you pair Ben White and Rice? Ben's White Rice. I mean, yeah, that's definitely a dad joke. It is. Even I would probably expect a bit more than that. But yeah, I'm there. Uncle Ben's White Rice. Yeah, we're here all week, people. We're here all week. Guna ER, Arteta spent 700 million by the end of this window. Has he been backed? He has. He has been backed. What I've said, though, is in this window, you've got to back him more. And he also has to have a higher percentage of transfers that work. For every player that's worked, Ben White, Ramsdale, Odegaard, we give him credit for them, no doubt about that. And who else did we have? The likes of Jesus and Zinchenko. But we've also had Fabio Vieira, we've had Pablo Mari, we've had Cedric, we've had Renarsson, so we've also got to be aware that there've been some ones that haven't worked as well. He's definitely been backed, but they need to back him even more. And I think we'll get that in this window because the teams that we're competing with are spending 200 or 300 million in one window. So we've still got a long way to go. Going on with this charger here. So yeah, we've still got a long way to go. You get that for me? Sorry. We aren't Flowers FC. We need trophies and a proper attitude. You're right. Dynamite says, Big C, I got a job. I'm so happy. Thanks. Big up to you, bro. Congrats on getting the job. I told you got to go in them interviews and own it, man. Let them know what you bring to the table, man. So big up to you. Well done on getting the job, bro. Yeah, Arteta's been back definitely, but you look at Chelsea, they're spending 300 million in one window. We're spending 300 million in 2 or 3 windows. But if he gets the kind of numbers it looks like he's going to get in this window, I can't say that they haven't backed him in this one. Would he win the league with 6 billion? Guderial's not the biggest fan of Arteta. I'm trying to stay balanced, because they have a go at me when I diss him, but yeah, he's still got to convince me. Big up Black, big up. Big up Jim Box from Bolivia. Let's move on. Next story. Could there be an interesting twist regarding Arsenal midfielder Thomas Partey, people? Thomas Partey. Now, reports coming out today that Thomas Partey wants to stay at Arsenal. He doesn't want to leave. He's not interested at the moment in going to Saudi. And also, despite the rumours that he was interested in going to Juventus, it's believed Thomas Partey wants to stay at Arsenal next season. And I want to know your thoughts on this, because what I found really interesting is, with all of this transfer news, a lot of people have been like, yeah, get rid of him. And I've been a bit like, why would we get rid of our best centre midfielder? Let's get rid of the ones who aren't as good as him and buy other ones that can compete with him. That's how you get to the top. You get rid of your El Nenis. You get rid of your, no disrespect, your Jorginhos and your Xhakas. Thomas Partey is the best midfielder at Arsenal. Until the end of March, we was comparing him to Rodri and to Casemiro. Listen, he finished the season bad. He did. The drop-off was huge. But let's be honest, who was really playing that well at the end of the season for us? There a lot of players fell off. Saka was quiet at the end of the season. Jesus stopped scoring. It was Ben White had a fall off at the end. So I think that, listen, I don't like to talk about it much, but obviously if what's going off the pitch is maybe sorting itself out and he's free of that, then maybe they keep him. That is the only reason I would sell him, if that was going to potentially have an effect further on down the line. For me, especially with the numbers they've been talking about, 20 odd million pounds and stuff like that, there's no way I'd be letting him go. I would keep him. Can you imagine a defensive pivot of Thomas Partey and Declan Rice? That's solid. That's going to be hard to break down. De Bruyne's not just running through that. So for me, I think you try and keep him. No disrespect as you go on to disrespect. Well, you know what I mean. I soften the blow and then probably disrespect them afterwards. But it is what it is. Partey and Declan equals Jollof Rice, says Franklin. Uncle Jollof. Partey is crucial. I agree. I would definitely be looking to keep him if there's no issue off the pitch. But listen, I think next season, it's believed that he's said to the club that he wants to play in the Champions League with Arsenal, because he's probably looking at it going, well, I joined the club when you was Europa League. I've helped you get in the Champions League. Now you want me to go. I want to sit here and enjoy some of the Champions League experience at the carpet. So for me, I think this is going to be positive news. Let's run a poll. On Partey. I know we've done a few. With reports that Partey now wants to stay, would you keep Partey at Arsenal next season? I personally would. As I said, as long as the other stuff isn't going to have an effect, which we don't know. Would you keep Partey at Arsenal next season? I definitely would. I still think he's our best centre mid, and he's one of very few players at this club that have actually played in the Champions League, people. It's what you got to look at. Your Gabriels, your Ben Whites, your Ramsdales, your Saka and Martinelli, Smith Rowe. All these guys have not played Champions League football, so you need players that have been there, done it. Jorginho, Thomas Partey. Kieran Tierney's played in it, Zinchenko and Jesus. So I'd be looking to keep him. I wonder what has changed his mind. You're right, Oz. Because all the rumours last week was that he wants out. He wants to leave England. And now all of a sudden he wants to stay. Did he play in the Champions League final? Gabriel played Champions League. Did he play in the Champions League with, where was he at? He was at Lille Warner. Yeah, they might have actually played Champions League. Odegaard's our best midfielder, though. That's cap. Nah, but Connor, to me, I'm talking centre midfield pivot, not attacking midfielder playing between the lines. I'm talking in that pivot, centre mid, El Neni, Jorginho, Partey, Xhaka. I'm not comparing him to Odegaard, who plays a little bit more advanced. I totally agree with this, Oz. With rotation, Partey can be a key asset. The problem with Partey is, number one, we've had him in a pivot with Granit Xhaka, who, let's be honest, last season just gone was his best season. The previous two, he was still a little bit meaty. You know, now if you get Rice next to him or somebody of that quality and Odegaard just in front, you've got a genuine quality midfield. And also, we've built our midfield around him and we've played him every single week and probably burnt him out. Maybe he's not built for a full season in the Premier League because, all right, he is 30, maybe 45. But if you've got Declan Rice and you've got, you know, maybe Lavia, then you can rotate him and use him differently. So I think we should keep him. I still think he's a key asset, but it'll be interesting what happens. And also, it's interesting that last week, every report was Partey wants out, and now all of a sudden, he wants to stay. So I don't know what has changed his mind, but it looks as if he's going to stay. So we'll see what happens with that. Dazza said, Big C, we must sell Partey. He's 30 plus, his price starts to depreciate. We must assume he has an injury, plus he's expected to play AFCON. His availability will not be great. I mean, I don't think 30 is a panic. I think a lot in football now, I think footballers are playing longer than they used to because they get rotated, the sports science, they've got all these things that enable them to play longer into their career. I don't think we need to panic because he's 30 years of age. Also, if clubs like Juventus are offering us £20 million for him, what are we going to do with £20 million? You can't replace him for 20. You're going to have to pay 40, 50, 60 to replace him. So I wouldn't panic that he's 30, and I wouldn't want to sell him for 20 million quid. What are you going to do with that? We paid 40 for him, 45, so we'll have to see with that. If someone was offering big money for him, I would consider, but I would keep him. Don said, watching you on high altitude, see business worldwide. Big up yourself, bro. Big up. KDB is 31. I mean, KDB is a different level, of course, but I hear you in terms of the age thing. Somebody just said there, Luka Modric. I think he's 37, 38 years of age. So he would be strong off the bench as well. You're right, Prince. So we'll move on from that. And we'll end that first poll. 94% of you would keep Thomas Partey. 6% say sell him. So definitely, it's changed to 89% now and 11%. So, but the majority of you saying keep him, which I agree. Marty with the super chat, you and Turner have the same birthday. It's a rule that you have to buy their kit when that happens. Don't shoot the messenger. I don't make the rules. I'd rather buy Messi's shirt as well. Same birthday as him. Turner, we can't do that, I'm afraid. But big up Marty, I respect it. The game is the game. I'll get a Messi shirt into Miami. We'll do that instead. Rotation is key for every player. That's how Man City gets to maintain their equilibrium. You're right. What I was looking at the other day, and I am clutching at straws a little bit here, but I'm just looking at how do you get this Manchester City team? How do you catch them? And I'm looking at it. There's going to be a little bit of a changing of the guards at Manchester City this summer because you've got to look. They've just let Gundogan go. Although Gundogan walked, they wanted to keep him. But Gundogan has been absolutely fantastic for Man City this season. In the run-in to their title, you could argue he's been their best player when you look at them big games. And that is a huge loss. Absolutely massive. Bernardo Silva is in talks with going to Saudi. There's rumours Kyle Walker could go to Bayern Munich. Laporte's going to go. Although the problem is they're going to get Vardiol for about £88 million, who I think is a fantastic player. But what I'm saying is, there's going to be an adjustment. They're going to get rid, I think, of 3, 4, 5 players and bring quite a few in. And you need it that, maybe they don't adjust straight away. I was looking at Haaland. He only missed 2 games in the Premier League this season. I think this season will be a more difficult season for Haaland because he was an unknown quantity to a lot of these players. I think this season you'll see Haaland pick up more injuries. So we need a bit of luck. If you look at City this season, they had very few injuries. You look at the running, De Bruyne, Haaland, Gundogan, Rodri, Ruben Diaz, Walker, Ederson. Everyone was fit and available and in form as well. And you're spot on there, Bob. They've just won a treble. Are they going to have that same hunger, that desperation? We always knew Manchester City were desperate to win the Champions League. Now they've got it. Are they, it's like someone at an all-you-can-eat restaurant. You've had your free servings now. I don't know if you need anything else. We're starving. So, Guna said you catch them by developing your good young players to great players, not all but a few, and by signing what we are missing, which is a prolific striker and upgraded midfield. And I agree. I think now Arsenal need to turn Martinelli and Saka into... They were already top players, but I think they need to be viewed around the world as like, you are absolute top draw. That's the level. Yeah, if we're going to go to the next level, we need to get those guys to a world-class level. You've also got to think that Smith Rowe basically didn't play for us the whole of last season. This is a guy that was in the England squad, So I still look at that like Smith Rowe will be, in the words of Wenger, like a new signing. Danny Welbeck, he will be like a new signing. Smith Rowe's going to be like a new signing for us next season. So I think that I think that the team can improve massively next season. Oh yeah, the mic went. It muted me for some reason, but we're back now. ESR's got 2-2 in the under-21s. I just hope, he comes back fit and firing. Simon said none of City's 6 defenders made an error that resulted in a goal in the league last year. That is just outrageous. But they don't get asked enough questions. When you have 75% possession, you don't make many mistakes, do you? Because how often are you running at that back for? You're spending nearly all the game trying to get the ball back off them. Then when they give the ball away, they press you like crazy, Big up Simon. Big up my bro Akeem. Yeah, but Kurt, that's because they could rotate. Well, you're right. Partey's playing every game. Xhaka, Saka. Saka looked burnt out about 5 times last season. Man City, it was at the point where De Bruyne's getting benched. Haaland's getting taken off at half-time, because of the level of rotation. Big up True Gunners TV, man. I appreciate the support, bro. Keep Partey. We need his experience. I've sent a message. We'd love to arrange some content. Yeah, man, I'll shout it. I'll message you back, bro. I'll check that. Gunnar Roller said, happy birthday, Big C. Having Partey on the bench is worth way more than 20 million. We need the experience and depth in the Champions League. I'll only sell if we're guaranteed to get Caicedo, which, with Arsenal, there's no guarantee we're going to get Caicedo, is there? But I think you're right. I think a lot of it is about improving what we have. Can Ramsdale play in the Champions League? Can we keep Saliba fit all season? Can we get Odegaard to continue with his progression? Can we get Saka and Martinelli to world-class level? Gabriel Jesus was injured for 3 months. Can he go from 11 league goals to 18 league goals? Improve what you've got first. Can you get Smith Rowe back involved? He scored 10 league goals, not last season, the one before. He hardly played a game this year. If you get his 10 goals off the bench again, that makes a big difference. And then we go and get 4 or 5 quality players to give us strength in depth. So yeah, man, listen, let's see what happens. It wouldn't be a transfer show, of course, without me talking about Declan Rice, the main man of transfer rumours at Arsenal at the moment. So, where we're at the moment is it's gone very quiet, which is frustrating, but I think it's a good thing. Because usually when it goes quiet, this is when talks are happening. This is when I expect something to happen. Now, Fabrizio tweeted again this morning, Arsenal and Manchester City will make offers for him this week. It's really strange how journalists are consistently saying Man City are going to put an offer in. Yeah, the Manchester Evening News are saying that Man City are not going to put an offer in. But I would imagine that this little quiet period is when you're going to hear the offers going to come out of nowhere. Now, Sami Mokbal has tweeted today. He said, Arsenal are locked in talks with West Ham over Declan Rice. Arsenal's third offer will be closer to the £100 million that West Ham are looking for. Declan Rice is keen to join Arsenal despite interest from Manchester City. I'm with you, Joshua. He said, just need to end this. I've always said with Arsenal, we drag out a transfer so long that by the time we sign the player, you're not even excited anymore. I remember with Gabriel Jesus last season, he'd basically signed for us for about 3 weeks. And by the time we announced him, the announcement wasn't even that good. And it was like, well, I knew we'd signed you 2 weeks ago. Like, dude, give us an exciting transfer. But listen, I do think Arsenal will get this done. I honestly don't think that Manchester City are that... How can I put it? Man City are waiting for the nod from Declan Rice. They're not going to waste their time making an offer for a player if they're not sure that the player wants to go there. If Declan Rice says to City, listen, I'm ready to join you, make no mistake, City will throw that offer down and get this deal done. They clearly haven't been given the nod, which the whole time I'm like, why are Arsenal waiting so long to wrap this up? Because he might get frustrated with Arsenal and go, well, hang on a minute, I can't afford to mess up the Man City deal. Arsenal don't agree a price for West Ham and he ends up at West Ham next season for another year. He will want the move. The Euros is at the end of next season. So we got to be careful, but I do believe we'll get this deal done. And I think this offer will come out of nowhere, maybe today or tomorrow. And let's hope that third offer is accepted. It needs to be a proper offer, not no silly add-ons that they can't achieve. Kamani said, facts, Curtis. Rice's choice is key for Man City. Yeah, 100%. ESR boss in the under-21s. Listen, under-21 level is not that high. I'm more happy about the fact that he's playing, that he's fit. Are you fit, bruv? You know? Get him back for pre-season at Arsenal and get him firing. He will be like a new signing. Happy birthday to man like Elliot Roberts. He said, guess who else has a birthday today? Happy birthday to me. Big up the C-Unit family. Happy birthday, bro. Great contributor on the channel. Hope you have a great day. It's probably got some new Arsenal merch. So big up yourself. Simon said, our player signings end up leaving us feel relieved because of the length of negotiating. It's true. The excitement disappears because, you know, it's a roller coaster. We're getting them, then they're going someone else, then it goes quiet, then we have an offer rejected, another offer rejected, then we sign them, and by the end of it, you're just tired. You're not even excited that we're signing Declan Rice. You're just relieved that we got the deal done, but let's see. Assassin. Oh, this is interesting. This is controversial. It's interesting. And I sort of agree with you, but let me read it out. And I'm not totally dismissing Ramsdale, but listen. He says, Curtis, hear me out. Liverpool replaced Karius with Alisson. City replaced Joe Hart with Ederson. Arsenal need to replace Ramsdale with a Champions League keeper like Mignon, or is it Mignon? I think Mignon, they say his name, right? Is my target. He's quality. I like him. I think he's a very good keeper. I like Onana as well. Chelsea, Man United looking at him. The problem you've got, the difference with Joe Hart and Karius, the only difference is those two had been at the club. Karius was clearly not good enough, right? And Joe Hart had been at the club for a long time and wasn't good with the ball at his feet. And Pep wanted a ball-playing goalkeeper. He went for Bravo, then he got Ederson. I agree. If I was in charge of Arsenal, I would say go and get Magic Mike, as they call him, or go and get Onana, because I think they are Champions League level keepers. The problem is, if you're Stan Kroenke, you're going to say, well, you spent £35 million on this guy. You've done well, got into the Champions League, and now you're going to dash him away. I think the club will say that he deserves a year to see if he is good enough in the Champions League, rather than just dismissing him. I agree with you, Assassin. I've got to be honest. I wouldn't get rid of Ramsdale, but I would sign another keeper if we had a lot of money. Mignon, people saying it's Mignon. Some people say Mignon. Mike Mignon. I'll just call him Magic Mike because I know that's his nickname. But Mike and Onana would be two I would definitely be interested in. And rather than saying Ramsdale, you're getting dropped, I'm saying there's your competition, real competition. Rather than Matt Turner, who, no disrespect to Turner, he's not going to get Ramsdale out of the team. He's just not on the level. So it's controversial, but I do hear you. I do hear you. Yeah, man. Big up Elliot, who said many thanks to the whole C-Unit family for the birthday wishes. Have a good day, bro. But anyway, Declan Rice, it's gone quiet. I expect an offer in the next day or so. That is for sure. We've just finished second in the best league in the world. That is Champions League level. It is, but I still think that I would say that at club level, I think the pressure is higher in the Champions League than the Premier League. I think going to the Bernabeu on a Tuesday night with all that history and heritage and prestige, is different to going to the Etihad. I don't think the Etihad has the same level of pressure that the Bernabeu would have, or the Camp Nou, or the San Siro. Not because their teams are better, because Man City are better than those teams, but because of the prestige and the atmosphere. I think you're just going to walk into the Etihad and say, this is a nice modern stadium. Man City fans are not that loud. I still think that heritage and prestige of the Champions League is different when you go away to these big games. But it is what it is. Curtis got a vendetta again. Honestly, I haven't, George, because I was not a fan of signing Ramsdale, but I've held my hands up and said that he's done really well. He's done really well for Arsenal, but I still think there's another level. But I'm not saying sell him. I'm saying give him top quality competition. I watch Courtois, I watch Alisson, I watch Onana, and then I watch Ramsdale. You can't tell me that he is anywhere near the level of those goalkeepers. They are absolute top draw, world-class goalkeepers. Ramsdale is a good Premier League goalkeeper. He's not top quality. But maybe he becomes top quality in time. That's the one thing I would say. He's still very young for a goalkeeper. And maybe if he has a couple more years at the club, maybe he becomes that level. But they're definitely going to give him the chance in the Champions League. It's almost an irrelevant conversation because they're not going to sell him. They're not going to bring in a goalkeeper. They're going to keep Turner. And they're going to keep Ramsdale, that's for sure. Is he 25 now? I thought he was 23 or 24. But yeah, still very young for a goalkeeper. Onana is world class. Someone just said Courtois is a different level. Bluey said, be real, Curtis, it's not 2011. Etihad is intimidating. Even Madrid's media team said it was one of the most intimidating. Do you know what I'm saying, though, Bluey? I feel like the Etihad's intimidating more because of the players. I think players would be intimidated by, oh my God, there's Haaland, there's De Bruyne, Pep's here. I mean, the atmosphere I don't think is that intimidating. I've been to the Etihad and it wasn't a Champions League night, it was a Premier League. I don't think the atmosphere would get in your head that much. I think it's more the players. You're intimidated by the quality of their team and the manager and the tactics and the way they keep the ball, I could be wrong. I haven't been there this season. Maybe it's a little bit different. Ramsdale hasn't got world-class level concentration, which is so important at that level. Look at Edison saving the Champions League final, and I agree with that. A few things that he needs to improve on. Concentration, make silly mistakes at times. Coming for crosses doesn't fill me with confidence. Onana just comes out and catches it like he's picking an apple off the tree. Ramsdale at times can improve with that. He's a little bit hyper sometimes. I think he needs to calm down a little bit. But I'll give him, he's going to get a chance. City Champions League nights are crazy. They are in terms of players and team, but is the atmosphere. I haven't been there this year, so maybe it has changed. Courtois 31, Alisson's 30. Ramsdale can get to their level. Let's hope so. Saving penalties, you're right, guys. You're right. He hasn't saved one penalty for Arsenal since he's been there. And that's in shootouts and in the games. Ramsdale is probably 4th or 5th best goalkeeper in the league. Who we got? Alisson, Edison. Yeah, he's probably not far off. I mean, Liverpool, I'd say Alisson's the best in the league. De Gea's not good with a ball at his feet, but he's an unbelievable shot stopper. There aren't that many good goalkeepers, but if we had the conversation about the Champions League, I would say he's probably not top 10. If we were talking about Champions League. Emmy, you could say, is better than him as well, by the way. He's a World Cup winner as well. A lot of you said that. If you was talking Champions League, he's not better than Courtois, not better than Ter Stegen, not better than Neuer, not better than Oblak, not better than Edison, Alisson, Magic Mike, Onana. There's 10 Champions League goalkeepers better than him. So And that's what we're aspiring to be. We need to be getting to semi-finals of Champions Leagues and finals. So, you know, yeah, he might be top 5 or 6 in the Prem, but he wouldn't be in the top 10 of the Champions League. And that's where we need to aim to be. But listen, let's hope he develops into that. Anyway, let's move on from Ramsdale. We'll give it, time will tell with Ramsdale. That's all I can say. Time will tell, people. Right, we are looking like we are heading for competition with Romeo Lavia. It's believed that Liverpool have made him one of their top targets in the last 24 hours. Liverpool look like they're looking to sign 2 or 3 players in that midfield area. They've obviously signed Alexis McAllister, but they are now targeting a potential move for Romeo Lavia. And as I said, it's looking like now Arsenal may not go for him if Thomas Partey stays. We obviously spoke at the start of the show about Thomas Partey now being ready to stay at Arsenal next season. Would Arsenal then only go for one midfielder? For me, even if Thomas Partey stays, I think Arsenal should be signing 2 midfielders. I don't think Thomas Partey staying should even affect this deal. Arsenal should be going for him, but the problem you've got, and we spoke about this on Saturday night, is that there are rumours that Arsenal are going to play Kai Havertz as an attacking midfielder. So Arteta might look at it and say, if they get Declan Rice and they get Havertz, they consider that 2 centre midfielders. And then you've got Jorginho, and then you've got Thomas Partey. Personally, I would get rid of El Neni. Jorginho will stay last year of his contract. Keep Thomas Partey, sell Xhaka, and then get Rice and Lavia. You then end up with a 4 of Lavia, Rice, Partey, Jorginho. Havertz can play in the 8 role if necessary, and Zinchenko can play in midfield. Because you'd have the experience of Jorginho and Partey. Declan Rice is in like his mid-20s, and then the younger midfielder in Lavia who's 19 who can improve a lot. So for me, this would be a mistake for Arsenal. But then the problem you've got now is that if Liverpool are in for him, does it end up becoming a bidding war and he ends up costing more than they feel that he's worth? Apparently, clubs were looking to pay around £40 million for him. If Liverpool go in for him, and apparently Chelsea and Man United have looked at him as well, do you end up paying more than 40 million for him? I would sign him, but it does have to be at the right price. Olu said plot twist, Kai to play 10, Odegaard to play 8. The Xhaka role could be, because I would say Odegaard's work rate is better than Kai Havertz. The only problem you would say is in that role, Odegaard's just scored 15 goals. So would you want him to have to defend that little bit more? But I do hear what you're saying on that. He's definitely got a far bigger work rate than Kai Havertz. But what are your thoughts on this, people? Should Arsenal still buy Lavia, even if Thomas Partey stays at the club? People saying, why am I ignoring Bambi Lokonga? Listen, he can't be wearing an Arsenal shirt ever again. I think we've all seen that he's not good enough. Nick said maximum 40 million or we walk. I mean, I saw something yesterday that Southampton want 50 million for Ward-Prowse. I think Aston Villa are looking at him. So back in the day when clubs got relegated, you could go and pick up their best players for cheap. Not anymore, because these clubs are getting parachute payments from the leagues. They're still demanding crazy money. Leicester wants 60 million for Maddison, even though they got relegated. I think people thought they'd get bargains out of these clubs because they've been relegated, but they're not going to do it. Sino said over 3K in the chat. Let's get them likes up to 1K. That should be light work, people. 1,500 minimum likes has got to be the target. That's only half of you hitting that like button, people. Load that midfield up. We're trying to catch City. Listen, like you said, bro, look at City this year. That, you know, you're looking at Gundogan, Rodri, De Bruyne, and Bernardo, who plays just in front. And then you've got man like Calvin Phillips barely kicking a ball. £50 million England international. You know, that's the level of quality that you're dealing with. £50 million player that started for England at times, not even getting a kick. So we can't be thinking, oh, we can't buy Lavia and have him on the bench. You bring him through. He can be the project. You bring him through as your young, project that you can develop, and you've got Partey and you've got Rice and you've got Jorginho, that experience, and Lavia's the youngster. You get rid of El Neni, you get rid of Xhaka. No sentiment this summer. So for me, I would like to see Arsenal go for him, even if Liverpool are interested. 20 said, thoughts on Arda Güler news. Release clause only 17 million. I don't know much about him, to be honest. I've heard us link with him a few times. I've seen some highlights of him. He looks a very exciting player. I've got to be honest. Carl said, dream big and offer Kimmich from Bayern. There was a rumour that Man City were trying to get him, but I think he's committed to Bayern for another season. So it doesn't sound like he wants to leave, but I would love Kimmich at Arsenal. Simon said, I think we play three at the back. Timber or Zinchenko play in midfield in attack. Yeah, I mean, I spoke about this last week. I think we will start with 4, and they'll play Rice as a lone DM, Havertz and Odegaard as attacking mids. And when we get the ball, like you said, either Timber or Zinchenko will go and play next to Declan Rice to give us that double pivot. We'll end up with a back 3, then your 2 DMs, then your 2 attacking mids, 2 wingers and 1 striker, and you get massive overloads in attack. That's why City were just swarming teams at the end. Look at the way Man City swarmed Real Madrid. I've never in my entire life seen Real Madrid get dealt with like that. It's because of the system and because of the players that they've also got in that system. So I've always said I like the fact that Arteta copies what Pep's doing, but I think he also needs to add his own twist to it, because nobody is better than what Pep is doing than Pep. You can't do the same thing as him and outdo him. You've got to do something different. The one team that was sort of Pep's kryptonite was Liverpool under Klopp. He couldn't handle that high press of, Firmino and Mane and Salah and the squeeze in midfield. So I do think Arteta's got to put his own twist on the way we're playing a little bit, instead of just completely doing what City are doing. But yeah, Lavia, Liverpool are now in the race. How is this going to work out? How much would you pay for him? Is he worth 40, 50 million pounds? He's had 1 year in the Prem. He's only 19. Let's see how that goes. For me, even if Thomas Partey stays, I would go and get Lavia. Real v Barca 5-0. Well, yeah, fair enough. But still, honestly, even in games like that, I've never seen anybody do what Man City did to them. It was embarrassing at times. They couldn't get the ball. They could not get the ball. Ash said, big up, Big C. Just joined the stream. Hope you had a good birthday, bro. Big up. Had a great birthday. Thank you very much. Curtis, what about Frankie de Jong, considering that Gundogan has gone to Barca? I think de Jong said the other day, and Xavi said that he's not leaving. He loves it there. I think he said that Barca was his dream club. So if you're at your dream club, you've just won the league, you got years left on your contract. He's on a massive contract. Why would you leave? Unless they're pushing him out the door, which they're not. He's not going to leave Barca to come to Arsenal, unfortunately. They need to sign powerful midfielders with legs. Yeah, I would get him. I would get Lavia. Big C, if Fabio McDonald's chip had an arm wrestle... Big C, if Fabio and a McDonald's chip had an arm wrestle, who would you personally back? I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? It's obvious. The large fries with sweet and sour sauce. It's a winner all day long. Fabio's got no chance. Big C, before last season's Prem started, your channel was 40k. Fast forward till now, 20k plus added. Well done. Big up the community. We're growing, people. And Champions League next year, man, I'm telling you, it's going to be a vibe. We're going to go to new heights. Or new lows if it's 5-1 Bayern. But if we beat big teams, we'll go to new heights. Listen, most people in the comments saying the chip. I'm not going to be disrespectful to them McDonald's chips. I've certainly had a lot more pleasure having McDonald's chips over the years than I have watching Fabio playing that number 10 role from Arsenal. So, yeah, whether it's a Happy Meal, a McChicken sandwich meal, or a Big Mac meal, I'm going with the chips, people. I'm going with the fries. Anyway, let's move on before they say, you've got an agenda against Fabio. He's the new Bernardo Silva. Simon said the best City looked was against Madrid, and us, they raised the level when they felt challenged. Yeah, they against us, it was absolute light work, and also against Madrid by half time. Itachi said, I would take Vieira at Liverpool. By all means, holler at Klopp. We're open to offers. Fabio Vieira is like McDonald's chips, and we all know how bad they are. D said, Big C, when we copied Pep's inverted wing backs, he switched to an inverted centre back in Stones. Always a step ahead. He's the master of it, bro. He turned up, we were like, yeah, we got an inverted left back. He was like, yo, that's old news, bro. I got centre backs inverting. Wait till he brings Edison out of goal and he's playing rush goalkeeper next season. You know Pep. He's always one step ahead, man. We're going to go to the Bernabeu with Nketiah up top. We can't let that happen. Fabio is not the new Bernardo Silva. He's the new spaghetti brand. Any transfers completed? Nope. Linked with, closer than ever. It's all of that. Level of disrespect wasn't needed. Listen, I apologise if any McDonald's chips were offended during that joke. My sincere apologies. Arteta copying like the invigilator has stepped outside. He needs to get his own style, man. He can't just copy Pep all the time. Anyway, let's move on. Another player that we're being linked with people, and for me, I would like to see this deal happen, but my only worry is because of the role that he plays and the players we've got, I don't know where you fit him in. But according to L'Equipe, Arsenal, and L'Equipe is not always a great source of info, by the way, but Arsenal are chasing a cut price deal for Xavi Simons, who doesn't want to return to PSG. Now, he left PSG to go to PSV. PSG had a buyback clause this summer that they could bring him back for cheap. It's something stupid like 10, 11 million euros, which is ridiculous. No, I'm not saying he copied Pep's style, but definitely a lot of similarities, and we can see that. Definitely copy and paste, Control and V on the... Is it Control V? Control C? Control V, right? He's definitely pressed Control V, maybe edited a few words, but, you know, if they check the test papers, someone's getting done for copying. But anyway, Xavi Simons has said he doesn't want to return to PSG. They've tried to activate the buyback clause. £6 million, is that how cheap it is? And he said no, because PSG cannot guarantee him regular football in terms of starts. And again, something I've said time and time again, the Euros is at the end of this season. These guys do not want to risk it by sitting on the bench. They want to go somewhere they're going to start. So even though I'm excited that we're interested in him because I think he's a very good player, I don't know where you get him in the Arsenal team. People saying it's €6 million, not even £6 million, which is unreal. The problem is, outside of the release clause, he's going to cost 30 to 40 million pounds. Where do you play him in this Arsenal team would be my only concern. He played at times in the number 10 role or even as a false 9 up front. He had a fantastic season last season for PSV. Brilliant performance against Arsenal. Ripped us apart in the Europa League. Just turned 20 years of age. Dutch international. Will probably go to the Euros. 19 league goals and 8 assists in 34 games for PSV. 27 goal contributions for a 20-year-old player. Managed by Ruud van Nistelrooy over there. And it says he's looking to leave. He wants to go to a higher level. And I would... listen, I would get him. All jokes aside, could we give them Fabio as part of the deal? He would probably do well in that league and not as physical, plays in a kind of attacking midfield role. Could we say, listen, you can take Fabio, who can play in that role, and we'll give you some money as well? Now, listen, the bench does need to be strong, and we do need to see rotation. But what I'm saying, Reams, some players will not want to risk being rotated. That's the sort of problem we're seeing with Balogun now. Balogun could probably stay at Arsenal next season and be rotated with Jesus and get game time. But he doesn't even want rotation. He's saying, I need to be first choice. I need to know that I'm starting. So, listen, this is a player that, for me, I think he can be an absolute top player. I really do. You look at the numbers that he's putting up. I look at that performance against Arsenal. Not many players play against Arsenal and wow me in terms of players outside. You know, Kevin De Bruyne wowed me at the Etihad, but Kevin De Bruyne is a regular wow footballer. You know, I expect that. But this kid against us, I know it was the Europa League, but we couldn't get near him. We could not get near him. He looked on a different level. Now, people saying he's a little bit lightweight as well. Fair enough. You know, he is only 20. He's probably not that built, but he's got aggression on the ball. You can be lightweight and still be a top quality player. David Silva was lightweight. Mesut Ozil was lightweight. But they're that intelligent. They're that good at getting on the ball. They're 2 steps ahead of most players. They can get away with it. I think somebody just said it there. He's a wonder kid. I think he's a wonder kid. I honestly do. I think wherever he goes, if he goes to the right club and gets the right manager, I think you're talking about a future superstar. I actually think he's that good. I think Fabio in a swap deal would be a fantastic deal, but would he want to go to the Dutch league? I don't know. Most notably, they don't pay massive wages over there. Bernardo Silva lightweight as well, but these man know how to handle their body. You know, sometimes their balance is so good and they know how to wriggle away from people. Slightly smaller players, sometimes they know how to get out of that physical battle. Maxwell, big up yourself, bro. I appreciate the message as well for the birthday. He said he ripped us when PSV played. Honestly, straight after that game, I was like, you should go and sign him. I'm sorry. That performance is outrageous. I think we have to understand, though, because we're saying not every small player is lightweight. Not every small player is lightweight. I've heard a lot of players. I remember I met Rio Ferdinand on holiday once, and we were talking about Messi. And this was a few years back. And he was saying, yo, Messi is strong. He says, don't think just because he's small that he's weak. He said, his balance on the ball, you can't just barge him off the ball. He's got strength in them arms. But yeah, man, listen, I would take Xavi Simons. You're going to have 2 problems. Number 1, can you convince him to come to Arsenal and potentially get rotated? And number 2, where do you fit him in the team? It would be a fantastic signing for squad depth. That is for sure. Sterling, pure yam and green banana. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, small players don't mean they're weak. But there are some lightweight players that they know how to handle their body and wriggle out. Xavi is a baller, but with Havertz, so we still going. Well, we're going to talk Havertz shortly, but yep, Xavi Simons. I think a lot of you would take him. I'm just not sure it's going to happen. Demoko said, I'm going to try and sponsor you in 4 months' time. I'll drop you an email soon. Hopefully you'll be a part of the process. It's linked to Arsenal. Yep, drop me an email. CurtisShawTV@hotmail.com. Big up yourself, bro. I'm all ears. And Simon says, Xavi's agent is David Dean's son, so that may have some legs. Well, yeah, I did see that, actually. Listen, if David Dean's son is Xavi Simons' agent and we want him and we can offer him some football, then surely we could get a deal done. Don said Partey is big but not that strong. Do you know when it worried me with Partey? When I seen Danny Welbeck just body him, he just bang! I was like, raw. I know Welbs has got some strength, you know. Yeah, I know people, it's Hotmail. I'm sorry, I've had that email address for a little while. I'm old school. Listen, don't be surprised if you see me, you know, burning a blank CD off on LimeWire, taking LimeWire. I'm old school, people. BlackBerry Messenger, you know what I mean? I'm old school, I'm afraid. I'm sorry. No Gmail, straight Hotmail. Hit me up, people. I told you I'm getting old. I'm getting old, people. I'm old school. John Layout said, big up Big C. Put respect on Denilson's name. All the current midfielders haven't played Champions League, whereas Denilson, Pereira, Neves has. Respect, respect. Big up Denilson. I can't believe that you love Denilson like that. Do you know he had a reputation for just party animal. He used to go Funky Buddha on a Tuesday, central London. If you know, you know. I used to go Funky Buddha on Tuesdays sometimes, and he'd be in there. And Arsenal would have a Champions League game on the Wednesday. He'd just be in the corner, keeping a low profile, party animal. No wonder he didn't have a successful career. He was probably drunk most of the time, to be fair. I can't knock the hustle, man. Enjoy yourself, you know. Only got one life to live, eh? Big him up. I wonder if he still plays, Denilson. I haven't actually seen anything of him for a while. Joel Campbell as well. He looked a decent player at one stage, didn't he? Joel Campbell under Wenger, and he just sort of disappeared off the face of the earth as well. Anyway, let's move on, people. And do I apologise for this conversation, or do we just have to embrace it and get on with it? I think it's a little bit of both, but Kai Havertz. Let's talk about Kai Havertz, people. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on where you are, but he completed his medical over the weekend in Spain. Arsenal's club doctor was pictured in an airport in Malaga as Kai Havertz was in Spain celebrating Kepa's wedding, and Kai Havertz was pictured with Jorginho. Jorginho put his arm round Havertz and put a picture up on social media with the side-eye emoji, and obviously hinting at the fact that this deal's going to get done. It is what it is. And I will find that picture, actually. But listen, he completed the medical in Marbella over the weekend. It's believed that we will have an announcement over the next couple of days. I think what's slowing it down is the you know, Arsenal like to do these announcement videos and pictures and so on and so forth. But they haven't apparently done all the announcement stuff yet. Here was the picture that Jorginho put up. Him and Kai Havertz with the side-eye emoji and a laughing face. Honestly, if you would have said to people saying he looks like Dracula, dear me. Anyway, if you'd have said to me 12 months ago, Jorginho and Kai Havertz will be Arsenal players, I would have said, get yourself to the hospital and get yourself looked at. You must have drank too much over the weekend, because there's no way on earth that those two will be Arsenal players. And if you'd have asked me at the time, do you want those two at the club, it would have definitely been no. However, I'm not going to destroy Jorginho. He's been okay for 12 million. He's been okay. Probably wasn't enough to win us the league. Maybe Caicedo would have got us closer. Apparently, Jorginho is very popular in the dressing room. This Kai Havertz one, I'm not going to talk about it for too long because it is what it is. I think it's the riskiest signing of Arteta's career at Arsenal because of the price tag, because he's come from Chelsea, because the fan base are so unsure about him. I think it's the riskiest signing of his time at Arsenal. Better than okay, you're bugging. Not really. I think he started 5 Premier League games when he was at Arsenal. So how amazing can he be in 5 Premier League starts? Or was it 6? 5 or 6 Premier League starts, I believe. So he did well. He did well. Okay, I'll give him better than okay. He wasn't a world beater, though, was he? He didn't lead us to the title. He did okay. He did all right. He did well. I can't go any further than that. This signing will either be a masterstroke or the biggest flop at the club since you've signed. He will either turn him into an absolute baller and we'll all hold our hands up and we'll go, oh my God, you got it absolutely bang on. We've got the Leverkusen Havertz back. Or this will be one of the, if not the worst signing of his time at Arsenal. All we can do is wait and see. It's as simple as that. I'm not even here to disrespect Kai Havertz now. I'm actually interested. I'm intrigued to see how he does at Arsenal. I really am. What I'm hoping is that it's just that relief for him that he's getting out of Chelsea. And we play fantastic football, let's be honest. I think along with probably Man City and Brighton and Arsenal, we played the best football in the Prem last season. Liverpool dropped off, of course. They got better at the end. So he needs to cook. Ashanti has to cook. He has to cook in this team, I'm telling you. If it's Shy Havertz, but time will tell. Blessed belated birthday, fellow Junie. Bless up Big C, Yardman Tings. Big up all the summer babies. While we're celebrating the summer, listen, big up everyone, of course, but summer babies, you know, is It's different, you know. We're used to that heat, people. What we got going off here? Right, couple more stories before we start to round up. Kai in the Xhaka role only. I can digest, I agree. Don't want to see him up front. African Giant received the P's last night. A little late, but yeah, we move. Yeah, all right, cool. Money's in your account, yeah? Pray to all your gods, see you. That's all we can do. It's interesting, like, where do you want Havertz to play in this Arsenal team? Where do you want him to play? Do you want him to be back up to Jesus as a striker? Do you want him to play in the 10 role just behind Jesus? There were rumours yesterday that, you know, he's going to play in the 8 role where Xhaka played, which I think is sort of where he will play, with Odegaard as like 2 number 8s as well. Where do you want him to play, people? Where would you like to... Or, listen, maybe you want him on the bench. Let's be honest, not everyone is happy that he's an Arsenal player. Some of you might just want him on the bench as a rotation. Where would you want to see Havertz in this team? Cover all 3. 65 million for Havertz. He's laughing, but let's just see. Maddison is a better 8 or 10. I said that. I'm surprised they didn't go Maddison. He would have been cheaper. Check Gallas, Luis, Jorginho, Willian, Benayoun, Havertz. Chelsea rejects Arsenal 7-a-side. When will we learn? Connor said I'd like him to play in the Chelsea role. Yeah, I hear you on that. Leave him at Chelsea. Play him in the 8. Odegaard has to do the dirty work and Havertz at 10. Quality squad depth. As squad depth, it's fine. I don't mind it as a squad depth signing, but we haven't signed him for squad depth. We've signed him to play him. I've got no doubt. There's no way we're spending 65 million and giving him 220 grand to bench him. He's going to play more than he's on the bench, in my opinion. Brio said, I prefer King Kai from Dragon Ball Z. Big up, bro. And Simon said, playing the 8, but with us having a back 3 and using extra midfielder. And I think that can work. I'm clinging to that. I really am. Please support Havertz. He's only human. He's only human after all. Don't put the blame on him. We won't put the blame on him. We might have a go at him, but we won't put the blame on him. Anyway, let's move on. What we got left? Couple more stories, then we'll round up, people. People keep saying, like, check the new tweets, and then I'm checking. There's nothing going on, really. Someone was saying today, I saw a tweet saying Arsenal should sign Jadon Sancho. I wasn't too sure on that one, I can't lie. I was a big fan of Sancho at Dortmund, but United, man, wow. 45 million they want for him, but he is on 325 grand a week, I believe. Would any of you take Jadon Sancho? I'm not actually bringing this up as a story. I'm just saying, would any of you take him? You know Arsenal are the RSPCA. Kai Havertz, look at where Kai Havertz has been as a player the last few years, and they paid 65 million for him. Would any of you take... I'd rather have Jaden Smith, says Arsenal 14. Xhaka and Saka roles. Sanch, no. Big fat no. No one wants him. I'm really surprised by how badly he struggled in the Prem. He was fantastic at Dortmund. If you cut his wages by 70%, if he was right wing, he did actually start right wing, didn't he? But then he's ended up as a left winger. Maureen David said, sign Barella, perfect for the 8 role. I like him. I'd take Barella all day. Sell Havertz. We've only just got him. Sanch, no. They can have £1 for Sancho. Nobody wants Sancho. People saying I'd rather have Troops. Kamal says I'd take him on the right wages. Nathaniel said Sancho would cook for us. Yeah, I don't think we'll go for him. I'd take him. He doesn't fit United's aggressive style, hence why Anthony only works for a bit. Get Gnabry back. I'd rather get Gnabry, of course. Let's talk Balogun. It's not looking good regarding his future at Arsenal. Dharmesh Chef said, he's not always bang on with his stories, by the way, either, but he said talks have taken place between Arsenal and the reps of Balogun over the weekend, apparently. Balogun wants regular first-team football after his successful loan at Reims. and is thought to want to make a permanent move away from North London. One source has told Sky Sports News the Gunners' valuation is £50 million for a player who still has 2 years left on his contract. Now, I don't want Balogun to leave. I've made that abundantly clear. The one positive with all of that, £50 million, you're damn right. You are damn right. Do not let this boy go on the cheap. No chance. 2 years left on his deal. You know what? Worst case scenario, bro, you're staying. I'm sorry. Worst case scenario, you got to hold another year as a squad player. We'll play. You'll get some game time, but if no one drops 50 on the table, sit down and relax and challenge Jesus for the first team spot, bro. You're in a better position than you were in a year ago. He wasn't even getting game time in the Europa League. He could genuinely get game time at Arsenal. So I'm glad they're asking for 50 million because that's proper money. As I said, the striker market is one of the worst that I've seen in probably ever. Most of the best strikers are in the 30s. The only good couple of young ones, probably Mbappe and Haaland. One or two others who are young, but in terms of world class. He's 21. He's just scored 21 goals. 21. Can you do something for me? We need 50 million or we don't want to talk. I ain't interested in no 30 million. Go and sell Eddie for 20 million or 15 million. And I think if you said to Balogun, we're going to play Havertz in the 8. We're going to sell Eddie and Nketiah. And I want you to go toe-to-toe with Jesus for that number 9 shirt. And even if you don't start every game, you're coming on every game, you'll be rotated, you can get it. He might even back himself that he can score more than Jesus. Jesus got 11 goals last season. I think if you do that, put your arm around him, say, listen, new contract with bigger money. You know, we've got American owners, we want to promote you and all that for the World Cup. Then I think you can keep him. Offer West Ham 100 million. If they say no, pull out, throw the money into for Barella. I am absolutely 100% in agreement at that. I think Barella's that good. I'd almost be tempted to not even pay the 100 million for Rice and just back out and pay 80 million euros, which is like 70 million quid. But they want a DM. That's the problem. So they are going to go for Rice. 30 million for Nketiah. Nah, you ain't getting that. I think you'll get 15 for him, maybe 17, 18. 20 if you was lucky with add-ons, but even that, I think with Edu selling, we would struggle. Curtis needs to be handling this Balogun deal. Let me handle it, man. I'll sort it out. 2 options. You either keep him and sign a new deal, or you sell him with a good buyback clause and a sell-on clause as well. Balogun 21 questions. Go, man, music. JW said, yo, Curtis, just a quick one. Do you have any advice for a 20-year-old in the North National League just for my little cousin? First of all, I know as football fans, we view everything in the glamorous way and at the top level and all that. If you're in the National League at 20 years of age, you're doing well. You're doing well. National League North, so it's 2 leagues below League 2, 1 league below the Conference National League. You can get a move at that level. My good friend of mine, he works at Barnet. And a few weeks ago, he said to me, they had 5 players who'd just been released from Tottenham. All right, I'll go full screen. They had 5 players who'd just been released from Tottenham. They were all pros. None of them had played for the first team, but they were all on professional deals. He said they all turned up, Mercedes cars that they've rented, you know, Louis Vuitton wash bag, best boots, you know, living that life. Premier League baller, not on big money, but their ego is obviously big. They came to Barnet or in the conference. They trained for the week. On Friday, he said to all of them, no, don't want none of you, all of you. And they were like, what? He said, you've come out of under-23 football, and under-23 football is nothing like men's first-team football. It's almost like non-contact. Pretty, Pep Guardiola, everyone can pass. No one tackles each other. Lovely pitches, beautiful football. You only get the odd one now that gets into the first team. Your Foden, your Saka, this, that, the other. There are a lot of players coming through the conference and stuff like that. Because if you're in your early 20s, late teens and you're playing first team football at that level and doing well, they're more likely to take you because they're going to go, well, he's already playing men's football, not under 23 football against a bunch of youngsters who aren't allowed to tackle you. So big him up, man. Good luck to him. I hope he does well. I played in that league as well. I played for Alfreton Town in that league, Conference League North. They're tough leagues, man. Big grown man football. That man will kick you all over the place. No VAR, you know. But anyway, let's move on. That's that real lower league football in England. It's hard work, man. Free game, man. You got to hand out. Just work hard. Get super fit. And just run. They want runners. When I was playing up front, just run. Just press. Work hard. Hold the ball up. You know, that's all it is. If you can score a few goals, then there you go. Anyway, let's move on. Story time over. Balogun, 50 million. First of all, I'd be surprised if Arsenal can get 50 million for Balogun because of Edu selling. He's being linked with Inter and AC Milan. These teams don't have money at the moment. You know, Inter Milan just got to a Champions League final and they're trying to sell their goalkeeper. They're trying to sell Barella. They're willing to sell players because they don't have the money. So are they really going to drop £50 million on Balogun? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they will, unless you get a good deal and sort out add-ons and things like that. So we'll have to see with that one. Big up Curtis spitting that game. Knowledge and entertainment at its finest. There you go. Arsenal are bidding to Big Brother House for nothing. Bidding to Big Brother House for nothing. Life coach. No, man, just a little advice, you know, little advice. Is it just me, but I still do not want Rice. I want Caicedo or Barella. In my opinion, they're better players, offer more, slightly cheaper, and it is a no-brainer. Let's finish off today's show by talking about one of the guys you just mentioned there, who is Caicedo. Now, again, out of nowhere, being linked with Arsenal, which is, I think some of this is just completely made up because they've spent all day saying Thomas Partey wants to stay, but Sam Dean has put Caicedo could become an option for Arsenal if Thomas Partey leaves. Now, it's believed that they're way off at the moment, Chelsea and Brighton, in getting a deal done for Caicedo. It's believed that Chelsea are not just prepared to throw money all over the place this summer. They're trying to balance the books a little bit, and they're not just going to throw this 100 million at Brighton. I think Brighton are trying to use the Declan Rice deal as a way of saying, listen, if he's worth 100 million, Caicedo's worth 100 million. But that doesn't seem to be working. So will Arsenal go back in for him? I don't think they will, personally. I would love to have seen Rice and Ricedo, as we were saying. But all the reports, most of the reports today are saying that Partey wants to stay. So it seems like an irrelevant news story. You know, them saying that they'll go back in for Caicedo if Partey goes. Now, I love Partey, by the way, as a player. I think he's a fantastic player. But even though I said I would keep Partey, if you said to me now, keep Partey or buy Caicedo, I would let Partey go to buy Caicedo because Caicedo's 21, Thomas Partey's 30, and I just think Caicedo's going to get better and better and better. I just don't see Arsenal buying Declan Rice for 100 million, buying Kai Havertz for 65 million, and then buying Caicedo for 80 million. You're talking about 245 million, and then buying Timber for 45 million. That's 290. We still might need one more player. I don't see them spending £300 million. I would love them to, but we'll have to see. We will have to see. I'm disappointed. If I'm being totally honest, I'm disappointed that we seem to have just dropped out of the race for Caicedo. I don't understand how we offered 70 million for this guy in January. He had a very good second half of the season, got man of the match against Arsenal at the Emirates, and we've just dropped out of the running for him. You know, I don't know. As I've said before, a lot of what happens at Arsenal is political. I think if Arsenal are looking at it, they're going, right, Declan Rice, he plays for England. He starts for England. England will go to the Euros, go to the World Cup, get far. he is going to be a poster boy. Make no mistake about that. Declan Rice will be on every training kit, every poster, every advert, him and Saka. You know, it's all of that. His interviews, his banter. He'll be a future captain. They're buying the product. Declan Rice is a product to Arsenal. Caicedo is not a product. He doesn't speak fluent English, right? You're not going to get the banter out of him. He's not going to be a future captain. He doesn't speak much English, you know, so he's not going to be a poster boy. You're buying purely the player. And his 10 brothers and sisters, of course, who are going to come along with him. From a PR point of view, Declan Rice ticks all the boxes, you know, and that's what Arsenal love, all that. Rice is a product, you know what I mean? We've probably got it in our cupboards now, people. Uncle Ben's. But, yeah, man, they're buying him because of all of that goes along with it. But don't think the club want to sign 2 Sixers. Could be right. Could be right on that one. Maybe that's the reason why... why they're not going for him, which I think is a shame. A lot of people tweeting at the moment about Timber, saying that deal is close to being done, that Arsenal are still in talks now, and that deal will nearly get done. I think that and Havertz look like they're going to be the first two to get agreed. Not going to lie, facts, true politics, 100%. You wait till you see how many people get Rice on the back of their shirt. X said Quincy Partey is leaving to join Quincy Promise. Hey, big up X, man. Yeah, I see Quincy got locked up, man. He used to be a decent player at one stage. Martinelli said, him or me. Yeah, maybe them things can affect things, you know. Martinelli might say, oh, man, that little puta, I don't like him. I don't want him here, man. I've just signed a new deal. You ain't signing him. Anyway, let's move on. A few super chats here to get through. Simon said, no, Sancho doesn't work hard enough. He was happy to secure the bag. It's a shame. I thought he was a real talent at Dortmund, man. And he's been really poor at United. But not many attackers are thriving at United. Probably Rashford, and that's it. Jorge said I had 35 million for him. I was fuming when I read that. 35. Oh, you're in relation to Balogun. Yeah, so 50 million is a better price. So I'm not sure we'll get 50 million. So we might end up keeping it. Just an interesting point. Some people have been saying that Balogun's getting arrogant. I don't look at it like that. I've got no problem with a player being open and honest. Balogun's coming out. He's not disrespecting the club. He's saying, I want to play first team football. If I can't get that Arsenal, I want to move on. I'm not offended by that. I think you know where you stand. And if he does leave, we'll all understand the reason why he left. As a striker and a goal scorer, you don't want to go and start every week and then come back and sit on Arsenal's bench. So I've got no problem with him being upfront about what he wants to do, you know. Simon said, swap Balogun and 10 million for Barella, Jorginho's second job as interpreter. Yeah, I mean, I would happily take that. I think Barella's fantastic, Simon. JW said, yo, Curtis, just a quick one. Do you have... Oh, no, I read that one. Big up JW for that. And big up your cousin playing in the Conference National League. JW said, love again for the advice, Curtis. Shout out the chat for the patience. If Curtis can give us an hour of vibes, you man better give a like. That's it. That's the prize, people. Just caress the like button on entrance or on the way out, people. Big up yourself. Big up Gunnar Roller said, see, what would you rate the window if we get Havertz, Timber, Rice and Caicedo? Yeah, somebody asked the other day if we get Havertz, Timber and Rice. I said I would give it a 7 because I said there's still a big question mark over Havertz. What position does he play? How much of a success? Big risk, big price, big wages. Timber, still a question mark. I don't know if he's a better centre-back, right-back. How does he adjust to the Prem? Declan Rice is a good player. I think we know what we're getting with him, but is he worth 100 million? Time will tell. So I would say it's a 7 because Rice, I think, is a very good signing. The other two, I'm not so sure. You chuck Caicedo in there, I think I'm edging towards an 8, 8.5 because the midfield then is secure for the next number of years. Rice, Caicedo, Partey and Jorginho. Those two obviously are a bit older, or a lot older, if you believe the rumours about Partey. So I'd give it an 8, 8.5. John Layout said, real talk, Curtis, some of my friends played for Hensford and Ilkeston. I went on trial with Curzon Ashton, but wasn't good enough, I guess. Hey, I've played at a lot of them. I actually played for Ilkeston before That was the last semi-pro club I played for before I went into professional football. So yeah, Ilkeston. And I played at Hensford as well. Curzon Ashton. Yeah, big up yourself, bro. Big up yourself, John. And thank you very much to SC Gooner as well. He said, work has kept me away for weeks, been waiting daily to be able to catch the show. Just want to donate my tardiness tax. Hey, big up, bro. Big up to everyone who contributes, whether it's a penny or whatever it is. And just giving up your time, people. I really appreciate all of your support. And big up to SC Gooner with a kind donation and everyone else who's contributed. My final conversation before we get out of here. Should Arsenal be going for this boy, Barella? Why are we not interested in him? He looks, to me, the way he plays, he looks like he could play for Arsenal. Tidy on the ball, 26 years of age, Italian international, led them to the Champions League final. I just think he's a quality player. 6 goals, 6 assists. I mean, he plays kind of in a deep lying ball playing role. So he's not really a DM that tackles and crunches people, but I just think he's fantastic on the ball. I really do. I think I am shocked. I'm really shocked that nobody in the Premier League, I mean, Newcastle are being linked with him. You cannot let a player of that quality go to Newcastle. No disrespect. I would get him to Arsenal every single day of the week. I think he's a brilliant player. You could play him with Declan Rice. Play him with Declan Rice. You get him for £70 million. I'm shocked that he doesn't, another Premier League. Man United, you put him next to Casemiro, brilliant. Liverpool, you put him next to Fabinho, brilliant. City, he could have replaced Gundo. Arsenal, you put him in the Xhaka role. Chelsea, you put him where Kovacic was. I'm not even going to include Tottenham because it's small fry. But yeah, he gets into nearly every Premier League team, in my opinion. He is a brilliant player. You cannot let him go to Newcastle. I mean, listen, fair play to Newcastle. They're showing a lot of ambition. They want 80 million euros, around 70 million pound. I would buy him every single day of the week if I was Arsenal. And if they reject 100 million for Rice, walk away, go and get this boy. I know they're different players, but he's fantastic. Keep Partey and play Barella next to him. I think he's a top player. And at 70 million quid in this market, that is a bargain. We should be going for him. Where would he play now? We've signed Havertz. Listen, and that could be the problem. Because if he's trying to squeeze Havertz and Odegaard into those attacking midfield roles, you're only going to have a lone 6. Then Barella can't get in the team. So Havertz could be the player that's stopping this kind of deal from happening. But I would still go for him. I'm sorry. He's that good, in my opinion. He's 26. He's class. He was insane at the Euros. That's the kind of squad depth we need. Barella is a conductor, big C's like Xavi Alonso was at Liverpool. And Xavi Alonso used to play deep. He is tenacious as well. He can still tackle. I just think he's quality. Barella is nice, but it's between him, Cancelo and Rice. Guess who wins? They're going all out for Rice. Too High said Caicedo is the one. Bun Havertz, this guy is clear, said Jay Blue. Connor said Havertz can stay on the bench, wing or up front, back up. I'd rather have that issue of who to play, 100%. Craig David Settings, I'm walking away from Kai Havertz in my life. I'm walking away. He ain't gonna sign Barella today. They need to listen, man. Edu, we're giving you free advice here. Songs, however you need it to be delivered, we can deliver it. We don't need Havertz. No, I'm sorry. I don't want to disrespect him. We're signing him. Just accept it. Dash Cash, big up Big C. Do you think we should go and try and put a bid in for Chouameni? I like him, but people were saying last week that Ancelotti has said that he's staying. He's a future player. I think the problem you got at Madrid, from the outside, it looks like Chouameni could be bought. I think the problem you've got is that Toni Kroos and Modric are in their last year. I don't think they'll sign another contract. So by the end of next season, I think Modric and Toni Kroos will leave Madrid. And then Camavinga, Bellingham, Valverde, Chouameni, that will be their 4 centre mids. of the future. So I don't think they'll let him go. They paid big money. You need help. Hey, listen, we don't need help, man. I told you, if you see me on X Factor audition, don't be surprised. I've got songs. As long as there's no high notes, I think I can survive. Information and entertainment. I said every show you turn up, you either leave with some information, you learn something, or you leave, you've had some entertainment. You know, we have to brighten it up. We have to brighten things up, people, you know. Truman great. I like him. I would. Ash said, Curtis, what would a 9 or 10 out of 10 transfer window look like for you? So for me, I would have wanted a striker, a top quality goal scorer. I know some people say we don't need a top quality goal scorer because, again, you know, Pep won the title not last year, the year before, with no out and out striker. So we maybe don't need one, but 10 out of 10 is like addressing every position that we need with a top quality player. I don't think you will ever see a 10 out of 10 window at Arsenal, not with the Kroenkes in charge. That's like 10 out of 10 would be signing a world-class player in every position that we need. To get to 9 out of 10, yeah, 10 out of 10 is like getting Mbappe, you know. But 9 out of 10 for me would have been get me a right back or centre back, centre mid of top quality. If you got me like Rice and Barella or Caicedo and Barella, and you've sorted that midfield out, and you got Osimhen or Ivan Toney, and you got like a Gnabry on the right, that would have been like a 9 or a 10 for me. My worry is still, have we signed anybody that significantly improves our team? That's still my little concern. Declan Rice is good, but if you're going to replace Partey, which I hope he don't, I hope we keep them, is Declan Rice better than Partey? And if he is better, how much better than him is he? I'm not sure he's that much better. I hope we keep Partey and add Rice to him. I still wanted Arsenal to sign a player that made me go, he takes us to the next level. I remember being in my car when we signed Alexis Sanchez. I said, yo, I don't know what we're going to win next season, but we're going to another level because this guy's just different. You knew it was going to happen. You saw when we signed Mesut Ozil, it was like, yo, nah, we've signed one of the best number 10s on the planet. You know, we should have won the league, but Wenger didn't buy the striker. I'm just not sure that I think they're good signings, but I'm not sure we've signed a game changer. You know, I want one of them. I'd love to see Gnabry come in. I'd love to see Ivan Toney come in. Just somebody. But we'll see. Time will tell. He was in a title race this year, and I suppose we didn't sign a game changer last year. Canadian Gooner said, the scary part is we still have no world-class players. I mean, Canadian Gooner, number one, thank you for the super chat. Number two, I would say, do you know the thing? It's hard for me to disagree with you because I remember saying that at the end of last season that I don't think Saka's world class. I think he's getting there, but I wasn't sure he was there yet. But I think that Saliba will become world class, but he didn't finish the season. We probably don't have. But the good thing is, even though we probably don't, some of you may disagree. Some of you may say Saka. Some may say Odegaard. Some may even say Saliba's already. The good thing is, whether you think anybody at Arsenal is world class or not, the good thing about Arsenal now is that I believe Martinelli will become world class. I believe Saka will become world class. Odegaard can. Saliba can. And we haven't had that for a few years, where there's a good 4 or 5 that can become world class. What the worry is when they become world class, will they still be Arsenal players? Make no mistake about it, Saka signed a 4-year contract with no option so that in 2 years he could start looking elsewhere if we're not handling business. He covered himself by signing that contract. But I do think Saka, Martinelli, Saliba, Odegaard all have world-class potential. They can all reach that level. So that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. So we'll see. Long way to go. Pete said Odegaard. He thinks Odegaard is world class. Interesting. I would say not yet. Not yet. But I think if he keeps performing like last season, Fabio is world class. If I speak, I'll be in trouble, people. Partey can be world class. He turns 43 next season. Curtis, are you going live when we announce Dracula? Yeah, why not? Why not, people? When we announce a signing, I'll put up a video or we'll go live. Here to there, Facts Big C, we have 4 players with world-class potential, still improving. We have a 2 to 3 year window. I mean, yeah. I think we need to have, at the end of this season, I think we need to be sitting here going, Saka's world-class now. Saliba's world-class now. They've gone in the Champions League. They've performed. You look at Saka's hat-trick the other week. If Saka has another top-quality season for Arsenal, does his thing in the Champions League, goes to the Euros, rips it up for England, you're sitting here in a year going, right, I've had enough. Saka's world-class now. We don't need to have that conversation anymore. Saliba's starting for France now in the Euros. He's played all season. He's one of the best centre-backs in the Prem. Saliba's now world-class. Martinelli's scored 18 league goals. He's ripped up Man City. He's in the Brazil squad. He's world-class. That's how we need to be talking. Odegaard's got 16 league goals again. He's bossing it. He's the best number 10 in the league with De Bruyne. He's world-class. We need to be having those conversations now. So we'll see. It's a big season ahead for Arsenal. Big pre-season. And let's see what happens. People, I am out of here. Thank you very much for tuning in today. Unfortunately, we haven't had the Declan Rice offer as yet. If anything major happens, we will go live again. But at the moment, the main news of today is Arsenal have made a second offer for Jurriën Timber from Ajax, 48 million euros. They have asked for 55 million euros. It's believed there's going to be a compromise somewhere in the middle. Personal terms agreed. 5-year contract agreed. This deal looks close. Kai Havertz has passed his medical in Spain. He will be announced in the next day or two. And we will look forward to that as well. Or maybe not look forward to that. Declan Rice has gone very quiet, but I'm expecting that third offer in the next day or so. Longer stream today, but there was lots to talk about, and it was good vibes as always, so we keep it going. Once again, happy birthday to Elliot. Big up everyone who wished him well. Hit that like button on the way out if you haven't already. Enjoy your Monday, people, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bless.